All right, so incoming unpopular opinion right now. I'm gonna get a bunch of hate for this one probably, but that's okay. As long as there's a discussion on it, that's fine. You guys have probably heard about this already. I mean, it's been reported on YouTube by a lot of independent news outlets and sites, and Phil DeFranco reported on it, and I think there's been several gaming news channels that reported on it. And so you've probably already heard the story, but I have a bit of a different take because everybody's response to this story is exactly the same. And mine is a little different. I have a different opinion than almost everybody I've seen who's commented on this story. So this is from Digital Trends. Fortnite streamer reportedly arrested after abusing wife while on Twitch. An Australian Fortnite streamer who goes by the name of Mr. Deadmoth has reportedly been arrested after he abused what sources claim is his pregnant wife while live on Twitch. The case of domestic abuse was recorded in a pair of videos that have circulated online. A Twitter user with the handle of Silence, who proclaims to be a cybersecurity expert and a cybercrime specialist, was providing updates on the situation. Silence reportedly proceeded with exacting his own brand of justice on Mr. Deadmoth, who he discovered was named Luke, by revealing the streamer's most commonly used password and compromising his Epic Games account by returning all of his eligible skins. Silence later confirmed that Luke's wife was fine, but the two kids were with the streamer. Esports learned from Silence that Luke was planning to escape from the authorities with his two children, but he gave the police the streamer's IP address and the hotel where he checked in so that he would be brought to jail. Silence also discovered that a previous arrest record for harassment and assault against Luke. Now, first of all, he's been let out at this point. He didn't stay there very long. Originally, his wife was also arrested and put in jail. All the charges were dropped against her. And this was all recorded. And of course, the natural response that everybody has is, that guy is a fucking asshole. He's a dick and he should be thrown in jail. And they're right. They're right. He should. He is a douchebag. He is a complete shit stain and he should be punished for this. This is not cool. However, I've got a bit more than that. I've got a bit more depth than that on my idea of this. And let me show you what happened here. It's for those of you who may be sensitive to this kind of thing, you might not want to watch this part. It doesn't show anything graphic, but it's still kind of ugly to experience. So if you're sensitive, then skip past it or something like that. But anyway, here's what happens. So basically, the guy is trying to stream. His wife wants him to come out for dinner, and he says, well, he'll be out there in a minute. And then this happens.
Not. I said I'll be out soon. Stop.
No computer.
Stop.
Sick of this shit.
Stop, please. I'll be out soon. Just stop. All I asked was for some time by myself.
Fucking woman.
Just go away. No one. Just go away. Leave me alone.
Okay, so pretty cut and dry. I mean, right? That's pretty cut and dry. And it's no wonder that everybody's like, oh, asshole. This guy's a douchebag. Okay, because he is. Let's face it, he is a douchebag. However, as I watched the whole video, which a lot of people aren't playing, something I know, I've got questions about this. Because you see, when the video first starts out, she's already hitting him. She's shoving him. She's pushing him around. She's throwing things at him. Finally, he gets up and apparently he hits her. And then he comes and he sits back down, and then she does it again. And this is repeatedly, over and over again. She continues to come back into the room after he's hit her, start hitting him, punching him, trying to smash his equipment, trying to grab the camera and yank it out of the system, and throwing things at him until he finally, again, launches out of his chair and then shoves her out of the room or hits her again or whatever. Sits down, and then she comes back and does it again. She keeps coming back and doing it more and more and more. And the whole time, The guy is just saying, leave me alone. He's saying, leave me alone. I'll be out in a minute. That's pretty much all he says the whole time. He just repeats that. Leave me alone. I'll be out in a minute. And she continues to come back. And even after it's over, you know, okay, boom, fight's over. He's hit her. Which means he is a douchebag. He's a total douchebag and he's hit her. But the fight is over. And he sits down. He says, leave me alone. But she doesn't. It's obvious when you watch the whole video that she is the one who wanted to fight. She is the one who kept the fight going. She continued to smack him around and throw things at him, even after it was already over, and all he wanted was just to be left alone. So, am I defending this guy? Fuck no. He's a shit stain. And he's a bag of shit, and he should get some jail time for this. He should be punished for it. But because you don't hit your wife. You don't hit your wife. You don't do that. Well, preferably don't hit anybody. But you don't hit your wife. But at the same time, and here's where my opinion differs than everybody else, because they're like, oh God, he hit a woman. It cut and dry. He's the asshole. There's no other assholes in the room. He's an asshole and everybody else is a victim. No, okay, with me, I go further. He shouldn't have been hitting her. But she shouldn't have been hitting him either. They both need to go to jail. Both of them. They're both assholes. The only victims in this entire thing were the children that you could hear in the background screaming and being traumatized and having to watch their idiot douchebag parents act like this in front of them. They were the victims. The other two people, they're both guilty. And this is just one of those things where if you flip it around, and I like to do this a lot, if you flipped this, okay, and it was a woman sitting and trying to stream, and there was a man, and he was throwing things at her, and he was pushing her around, and he was trying to smash her computer, and she eventually got up and smacked him across the face, I guarantee you she would have got a standing ovation. There would have been people all over the internet going, you go, girl, you don't let that man tell you what to do. It was the same situation. If it was the same situation with the guy sitting there, except he had a vagina, then he would have been the victim. I guarantee it. And whatever guy was throwing things at him would have been the bad guy. The same situation, flip the genitals, and it would have been a completely different experience for everybody. So this is why I don't trust people's judgment on things like this. Because although everybody wants to say that they want to give up the sentiment that, men and women should be treated equally, they don't really mean that. Nobody ever really means that when they say that. They want to give women preferential treatment, and at least emotionally and mentally, and they do. And this is a perfect case of that, I think. They're both just as douchey as each other. My personal, what I saw from this is that they just don't have respect for each other or their relationship. I mean, she thinks that he plays the games too long. He just wanted to be left alone to play a game. Now, if they had sat down with each other and they'd talked, and he'd said, I would like to be left alone to do my streams and play my game. And she said, okay, but I would also like you to, limit the amount of time that you play it, because she said that apparently he plays that game like 6 to 8 hours every day, which is a lot of game time every day. So there's that. But if they'd had some kind of respect for each other and the relationship, that's what they would have done. They would have sat down and talked and kind of made out something, some rules for each other that would have been satisfactory on both ends. But they didn't do that. Instead, they just start throwing things at each other and fighting each other. And, people jump up and automatically say, well, it's the guy's fault because he hit a woman. No, it's not always just the guy's fault when a woman is hit, because sometimes the woman hit him first, like in this case. So they're both douchebags. Okay, that's my take from this. There's not just one douchebag here. They're both douchebags. And that is probably going to get me some hate comments, and that's fine. Just let it all go. I'm fine with that, but There's one thing I will tell you that when it comes from me, I actually do think of men and women equally. And if a woman's being a douchebag, I'll say she's being a douchebag. And in this case, she was being a douchebag along with him.